Hello, everyone. Welcome. I'm Melanie Rose, and I'm here for Astro Insights. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Astro Insights. I am your host, Melanie Rose, and today is Sunday, September 14. And I want to let you know that, like it was quite a week last week. It's quite a week coming up, astrologically speaking. It's a very consequential week. There's a lot of stuff happening. And honestly, like I have spent the last couple of weeks setting up my new bookstore. So I'm not prepared today to give you the full rundown of next week's astrology. I've taken a look at it though, and I just want to give us a little bit of a heads up, put us in the context where we need to be, and then I'll come back to you tomorrow and give you a little bit more of the lowdown on this week's astrology. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for being here. Thank you for checking in on your current regular astrology. As you know, as above, so below. Whatever it is that we can see happening, whatever the symbolism is telling us about what might be happening here in our own lives, just gives us all that more information to help us navigate our lives here on Earth, which can be uh, strugglesome and confusing and at times delightful and confusing as well. I'll take all the information I can get, and I'm so happy that you're here with me on that journey. So welcome, Astro Insights Live. And again, I'm Melanie Rose. So today is Sunday the 14th. I want to say that today is the moon in Gemini shifting into Cancer, and it's also the waning half moon. So we are halfway from that full moon that happened last week to that new moon, which happens next Sunday, a week from today. And the moon is moving into Cancer today, so that's really a time of the month when we sort of retreat back into our bodies, back into our hearts, back into our homes, and sort of nurture and take care of ourselves and what is ours. Ideally speaking, there's this tendency to sort of to go home and enjoy the comforts of being there and attend to the relationships that exist there and attend to your own well-being there as well. So that's where we are today. And this past week, there was a lot of transition. There were a lot of conjunctions. There was a lot of intensity and change. There were some positive things on the map as well. So if you're watching this and if you had anything significant happen in this past week, please do drop it in the comments. Let us know. I opened a bookstore. Jennifer and I opened a bookstore this week, actually just yesterday when the sun was conjuncting Mercury, when we had that Mercury cazimi. So it was the big fall festival here in our hometown, and we opened our store for it. We weren't really quite prepared, but we were as prepared as we could as we could get, and we opened it up. We had a lovely time visiting with members of our community, and we look forward to more of that. So things are changing, and I want us to be clear because there's a larger astrology context here where last year things were sort of a way we have become accustomed to having them be, and next year things are going to be in a way that we are not accustomed to having them be, and this year is the transition between those times, and especially this coming week we have a lot of stuff going on around that point in the chart that is the end of the zodiac and the very beginning of the zodiac. And so the symbolic endings and beginnings are becoming more like real endings and beginnings. You're probably going to see a lot of that in your own life. Definitely, we can see it in the news and in what's going on around the globe. A lot of things are coming to an end, and sometimes we don't even really know what the beginning is. But over the past few months, as we had these things clicking back and forth between that beginning and end, we have gotten some vision, right? We've gotten a view, we've gotten a little bit of a look ahead, and the astrology has supported us getting a look ahead and seeing what changes are coming toward us, what changes are inevitable, what kind of upgrades, technological and perspective upgrades we're going to be shifting into. So, we kind of got a picture of that for the past few months, and now all of the outer planets are retrograde. All of the inner planets are uh, moving forward, but this coming week, Mercury is going to move into Libra, and Venus is going to move into Virgo. And what's going to happen is a lot of aspects because, again, as we have those planets cross the threshold into a new sign, they're aspecting all of these outer planets that are now retrograde, and they're kind of clustered around the beginnings and endings of signs. So there's a lot of action coming up this week as Mercury moves into Libra on Wednesday, and Venus moves into Virgo on Friday. It's really going to be an active live time of shifting our perspective, the way we're going about our plans, the way the way we are being diplomatic is one thing that's really going to come up this week because when Mercury moves over into Libra, it's going to be in the same sign as Mars with Libra. And so it's really going to be about talking about the actions that we want to take that are fair. It's going to be about, sort of bringing about a little bit more diplomacy into our personal lives because it is Venus, it is Mercury and Mars. Um, and they're both also aspecting these outer planets, and so it's happening on a global level as well. And I see a lot of conflict in the world, and we see a lot of like scary, upsetting, violent things happening in the world right now. I know we just had a popular, what is it, right wing opinion person get murdered this past week in a really violent display. And so it seems like a lot of things are coming to an end, and it seems like we don't know where the beginning is, or it seems like we don't like there's no effort at diplomacy. I even see people in the news, like people who are giving press conferences about the things that have happened, or people who are, in the news just sort of making pleas and saying, you know, the more violence that we engage in, the more violence we're going to have. Can we please stop having so much violence? Can we please stop, pull it back and try to have a dialogue? And that's, what Mercury and Mars together in Libra is bringing about is that desire to have an active dialogue, to bring things to a more even keel. When the waters are choppy, when things are difficult, they're difficult for everybody. So we want a more level, we want a more balanced way of being together in our private lives and also out in culture, and we're working on that. So don't fool yourself into believing, don't make the mistake of thinking that there's no diplomacy and that there's nobody trying to make a difference and that nobody is trying to bring about more equity, equality, balance into these situations. uh, that work is being done, and it's going to come to the forefront very soon. So with that said, this week just brings a lot of stuff. It brings a lot of positive things. It brings a lot of easy things like developments that we don't even really have to do anything. We just have to notice these developments are happening. And it brings some shifts as well. We have all those outer planets retrograde, so life has slowed down a little bit, and they're going to start shifting back into their former signs too. So it's going to seem a little bit like we've gone backwards, and we're having to revisit some things that we were dealing with last year or in the last few years. And then early next year, they're going to all start to shift back forward into their signs, and we're going to see that new day dawning. Okay, so with the energies of this week being somewhat exciting and fun and positive, but also somewhat requiring us to adjust to the realities that we see, and a little bit challenging and conflicted as well, because all of these things can be true at the same time. With the coming days being like that, I just really want to offer you guidance to try to do what you can to take good care of yourself. Personally, I believe, take good care of your body and the rest follows. So definitely make sure you are staying well hydrated. It's pretty hot outside where I live this week, and make sure you are feeding yourself nutritious foods and doing the best you can to take good care of yourself and your own And that is my message as we move into the moon in Cancer at the beginning of the week. I think that's going to be a great theme for the week, is like self-care, taking care of what's close to you and what's important to you, taking care of your heart, your home, your body. Okay, uh, put your well-being first, right? Put your oxygen mask on first, so that you can also put the well-being of others, make the well-being of others a priority. And then at the end of this coming week, next Sunday, we're going to have that new moon. That new moon is in Virgo, where the sun is. They're going to conjunct, and that's where we get that new moon, that moon you can't really see. And there's a solar eclipse that day. And it won't be visible to me. I'm not sure exactly who it is visible to, but we have been, this week and last week is the 2 weeks between the eclipses. So um, we're the turmoil, the bumpy energy, the, what do I want to call it, turbulence that we are experiencing. It's written in the stars, we are in the eclipse season. And the changes that we are going through, though they are very tough and some of them very hard to bear, are in the long run for the better. So I want you to keep that in mind. That new moon in Virgo and solar eclipse on Sunday, next Sunday on the 21st, precede the fall equinox and the sun moving into Libra on the very next day. Okay, so that's Monday, and that's not tomorrow Monday, but the next Monday. So we're getting a little further out, but I want to let you know the end of this week is the end of the season. It's the end of the summer. It's the end of Virgo season, and it is the beginning of the autumn, finally, friends. A little bit of a shift to cooler climate for those of us in the northern hemisphere, a little bit of a shift to a warmer climate for those of us in the southern hemisphere. And yeah, that's about all the detail I can give you for this week. I just want to encourage you to be kind to yourselves. Take it easy on yourself so that you can take it easy on others. Nourish and hydrate yourself and encourage others to take care of themselves as well. Okay, because it's just a bumpy ride this week. All right, friends, thank you so much for joining me. Now I have a uh, tarot card reading for you. Woo, yeah, that coming week. And then, on the day that the fall equinox begins, Mars is also going to head on into Scorpio, where Mars rules. So that's going to be a heck of a week coming up next week too. But not quite as bumpy and confusing and wild of a ride as it has been this week and last week. Okay. So, uh, looking at this week, I want to say we're going to do a card for what's coming in and what's going out, because a lot of things are going by the wayside. A lot of things that we thought were permanent 3 weeks ago, we will know are not permanent 2 weeks from now. Okay, so what's coming in and what is going out at this time? What's coming in? What can we be receptive to? What can we open our hearts to, our arms to, or what can we just be open to understanding so that we can navigate our lives a little bit better? The King of Pentacles. Okay. So this is about mastery of resources, being in charge of your resources in a way that makes you comfortable and makes you a good resource for others. Okay, this is a very Taurus kind of card. You see the bulls on the bull heads on his throne. It's a very Taurus kind of card. It's about stability. It's about desiring comfort, and really, as a king, mastery of those resources. So knowing how to make yourself comfort. So that was what's going. Was that what's coming in? Okay, I'm really glad that's what's coming in. So what I encourage you to be receptive to is understanding what makes you feel comfortable, what makes you feel grounded, what makes you feel supported and secure, and as though all of your needs and desires are met. Okay, and especially because we've got the moon in Cancer coming into this week, I want to hear that, or I want to encourage you to focus on, your comfort and your sense of material stability at home. Okay. So that's what's coming in. Embrace the idea of being comfortable in your home. Embrace the idea of being comfortable in the environments that you inhabit regularly, and manage your resources in such a way that you can do that. All right, so that's the King of Pentacles. I love the King of Pentacles, especially this one. It's sort of a more modern version, and this one's got grapes, like a bunch of clusters of grapes on their golden jacket. I think that's really lovely. Okay, so um, the next thing is what's going out. You might have heard Jennifer in the background. She had to remind me what it was that we were doing. So the next card is what is going out? What can we be letting go of? Or what can we be aware of that needs to be let go of? Okay, sometimes it's not very easy. Having recently gone through everything I owned and tried to decide like what goes and what stays, it's not always very easy to let go of things that you've had for a long time, even if there's no reason to keep it, right? So sometimes it has to be like, what would it be like if I let that go? Right? How would I be comfortable letting this go? Sometimes I wouldn't be comfortable letting something go unless it was given to somebody special or something like that. So there are different ways of letting things go. Um, excuse me. Uh, and we do let things go for a reason, especially in this week of a waning moon. It's important to remember that we are making room for fresh insight, new ideas, more stuff and things, more love, more friends, more family when we let go of things that no longer work for us. Okay, so what are we releasing this week? Oh, my goodness. We got the Tower. What are we letting go of? Catastrophic thinking, friends. So I think that we all do it. A lot of us do it. Some catastrophic thinking, if I do this, then, everything will fall apart. Somebody will be angry with me, or, the boss won't like it, or uh, something like that. Or, even like if I take this risk, I might not succeed. Now, this is something that I've been dealing with lately because, like I said, we've been opening a store, and that's not like I've had a business before, but that's not something I've done before. So there are moments when it's like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? Am I even going to succeed here? But it's important not to lean into that thought that you might not succeed if you don't have evidence that that's what's happening. Okay, uh, things are not falling apart unless they really are falling apart. You've got to look for the evidence of that. Okay. So let go of the catastrophic thinking. Let go of the idea that things falling apart is necessarily a bad thing. Okay. But also let go, because once things fall apart, then you've just got raw materials to rebuild with. And then let go of the idea that sort of, for me, it's like, because it's me, it's sort of like, what is that, Murphy's Law? Murphy's Law says, if something bad can happen, it will happen. It's going to happen to me. We've got to stop that negative thinking, and we've got to stop like giving into what fear tells us to refrain from doing. Okay, we have to be more bold. We have to be living in the world and active and putting ourselves out there, um, and allowing the things that we want to do to motivate us and not keep us back. Okay, that's what I have to say about that today, friends. So coming in, time to embrace that sense of comfort, that sense of being well resourced, doing whatever it is to feel secure, especially at home and in the places that you inhabit regularly. Leaving, putting behind us catastrophic thinking, that concern that everything's going to fall apart, um, and that we won't be able to come back from it, because that's just not the case. We start over again and again and again. If it does fall apart, we can start over, but it's not necessarily falling apart. It's just changing, friends. This is what change feels like. Thank you so much for being here. I sure do appreciate you attending. uh, this session of Astro Insights. And I felt going into this like I wasn't very well prepared. There is a lot of astrology to talk about for this week, and I didn't touch on like most of it talking to you about it today. So I'm going to try to come back tomorrow or later in the week and just explicate some things as they are going on, because it would seem to be a lot easier than trying to really talk to you about 23 or so different aspects all at once on a Sunday, friends. So thank you so much for being here. I do appreciate you all for showing up. And I am your host, Melanie Rose. This is Astro Insights. You can find us here on Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. You can also find us here on, I want to say, on Thursday nights at 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. We do Tarot Showdown. So bring your yes or no Tarot questions and get them answered for free on our Tarot Showdown on Thursday nights. It's a lot of fun. Don't forget to like this video. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click for notifications so you can get more content like this. Thank you, friends. I'll see you in the next video.